Good morning, UPBOptionMillionaires.com. It is Thursday, October 2nd, 2014, and stock futures are a little bit off their lows that they saw yesterday. We're not looking at anything spectacular here as far as a bounce is concerned. We're coming back actually to where the levels were before the European market opened. We saw a swift decline, and we're coming back to that. It's about 2.5 hours before the market here in the U.S. is going to open. You can see we fell just about the session lows an hour before the market was going to close. We saw somewhat of a stick save before we declined at the closing bell, and stock futures kind of meandered until the European markets opened for trade. We fell, and we're starting to rally a bit here, but we were kind of a muted action into the opening bell yesterday, and we had a similar type of move where stock futures slowly melted up, and then when the market opened, it was just a complete carnage. As we fell to lows we haven't seen since early August. And if you look back, early August, we pulled back to the Abenomics trend line and we bounced. So you got to be a realist here. And, I was, unfortunately for me, because I was in some call contracts, but I've been kind of spewing out how the trend remains to the upside until that trend breaks. You got to be in calls. You got to be going long this market. Well, here we are. I mean, this is the moment of truth here as we've broken below the Abenomics support line. This goes all the way back to November of 2012. So this is very important. If we can get back above it, then it's back, it's back into la-la land, lollipops and candy canes. But if we continue to pull back, we could see significant downside. Now, my first point of interest would be here at the support line here at about 191.50, and then we'll see back to 182. I mean, that would get pretty wild. And then you'd have to look at, as far as a topping pattern being put in, if we do fall back to 191 and then bounce, we were looking at some sort of head and shoulders topping pattern. Again, all of this has been said and spoken about before. Over the last 5.5 years, we've seen these types of pullbacks. I mean, look at the pullback here we had at the start of this past year, or the tech wreck of 2014 in April, the pullback in August. All of these pullbacks were supposed to bring the market significantly lower than it was currently trading for. And we're looking at the same thing here, but the difference is we've broken this long-term Abenomics trend line. So to me, that's a little concerning. We'll see what happens today. Stock futures are starting to rally a little bit. And that would be the ultimate head fake. We hit record highs, we pull back, the bears get really emboldened here, and we snap back over this trend line and don't look back. And again, I'm kind of skewed towards the bullish camp because I'm still in some call contracts and I still like this market. I still can't wrap my mind around the market pulling back with bonds. I mean, over in Germany, negative yields. This is something else to watch as well. TLT, remember to talk about, oh no, interest rates are going to start to rise. And they're like, oh no, they're not. Hello. So we're heading back up to this trend line at about 119.50 on TLT, which is a 20-year bond treasury ETF. Has worked as a great point of resistance and buying put. So we'll see what happens. Of course, we don't want to see a dramatic decline because a big spike in interest rates is going to get everyone scared, wet their diapers and stuff. But as long as we see a modest decline. So again, over in Europe, we have interest rates. I think, what was it? Ireland. There was a couple countries there, and I keep bringing it up in the audio in the chat room at Option Millionaires. The fact that interest rates are just so low in countries that were going to go belly up only a couple years ago, basically yielding less than here in the U.S., where we can just print our worries away. And so that's why I think we're seeing a lot of money flow into the bond market here from overseas. Also, it's still an environment where you're looking for return on capital. So if you're getting a negative return on a short-term bond, go into stocks or stock that offers a dividend. So we'll see if that holds true here. There's something to keep an eye on here is TLT. If it continues to rally, I love this, as I did the last time. Right up here, you can go to StockTwits, Twitter, you can go to blog at optionmillionaires.com. I bought the puts at 119, and we pulled back. It was a significant pullback down to 112. I think I said I was going to hit 110.50. Yeah, I was off a couple bucks. And then we have this nice rally back up to it. Now, if we break through it, it's going to be a little bit of a different scenario. But again, we've seen stocks and bonds rally throughout this run since the lows in 2009. I got my face ripped off this week. I shouldn't say ripped off because I've been playing it somewhat light. And if you were listening to audio in the chat room at Option Millionaires, I was talking about how I was going to wait for the dust to settle, but that didn't mean I wasn't going to trade. I got some Whole Foods calls in the Ditto account that I started up this week on Tuesday. they worked out nicely. Yeah, look at that spike. And I told, if you're following a Ditto Trade account, I open the positions. You're allowed, you can sell them at any time. So if you're sitting on a 250, 300% profit like we were on this spike, by all means, sell. But since I went outside of the box, usually I buy short-term duration options. This time I bought 2 weeks, and I think Whole Foods is going to have over $40 by the end of next week. So we've got time for that option contract to work for us. So I did not sell. And that option contract, I think, is only up like 30 or 40% still. But Whole Foods had a nice day. And if you look at TFM, which is a similar healthy stock, was up almost 2% yesterday. It continues its move from its earnings. It was a $28 stock for earnings. Analysts were calling for it to significantly decline. So I like Whole Foods still. Solar City, which bounced off support here. I love this stock here for a move back up over 60. I know JB likes it. I like it merely for a chart. From a chart perspective. And let's look at some other stocks. DDD, which has been beaten down, my goodness, broke through long-term support here to start the month yesterday and recovered a little bit at the end of the session, but we'll see if we can get back up to 46. Has to get back above the support line. Let's look at some Amazon charts. We got Amazon hit 316 and bounced. If you look, I mean, this looks really weak. Unfortunately, I like Amazon. I'm a drooling bull, but Amazon, the chart looks weak, so I'll probably stay away from Amazon. Netflix this morning announced Adam Sandler is going to be doing 4 movies for them. I don't know if that's good or bad. Is Adam Sandler washed up yet? But you can see it's $50 off its all-time record highs. Support here, if you drew a trend line all the way across, would be pretty much where it closed the session on Tuesday. So on Wednesday, excuse me. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla's up this morning. Tesla, and I brought this up continuously, comparing it to GoPro, GPRO, because if you look back over the last 2 years, when Tesla started its breakout, it's kind of like GoPro. GoPro is like here. This, to me, that's what, if you want to compare charts, nobody was thinking Tesla was going to make the move up, and it almost hit $200, pulled back, dropped almost 100. So there's a lot of volatility. I don't know where that, look at this. That's a rogue candle. It's like, hello, what the? It's a rogue candle. You see that a lot, it's like those selfies where someone, sticks their head in. Hello, hi, Mr. Candle. Don't you belong somewhere? Kind of like that candle that woke up a little early in the morning. His hair's a mess. He's a little hungover, and he's like, don't I have to be somewhere? Oh, wait. So anyway, Tesla, if you look at record highs, pulled back, and we've seen these pullbacks last pretty long over the course of 4 to 5 months. So we got 4 to 5 months. We've only got 2 months to this. So is the possibility out there that Tesla could keep pulling back for a little bit? Yeah, but just to me, as long as it stays, and if you drew a line across here, let me see. No, well, I can't do it right here, but you drew a line across, looks at right at support. So we'll see if Tesla can get a nice move to the upside. Twitter as well. Again, people were laughing at me when Twitter made that big decline down from here. And I was talking about Twitter here. I said, I think this is going to be a $100 stock. And we're getting there. We actually dropped below 50 yesterday, but look to recover most of those losses, only down 0.5%. And this morning, JP Morgan Chase is out with an upgrade on the stock. So I think we're going to see some bullish action in the name. And again, I think this is a long-term trade. Nobody's talking about Facebook. Facebook's just off its record levels. Had a really sharp candle, just like everything else yesterday. But I think in the whole context of the move that the stock has seen, I think it's still heading higher. That's Facebook and GoPro. I wrote a little piece on it, just comparing it to Tesla, because this is Tesla in April of 2012. That's what it looks like to me. Tesla was at $28, $30, record short interest. Nobody believed in the stock. And it started to rally. And a lot of people couldn't understand why it was rallying. Everybody wants to put it at a it's rallying because its price per earnings ratio is, or put some sort of, the revenue isn't something. They need to grasp onto something. But to me, it's just like Tesla. A lot of people didn't understand the stock when it was trading from 28 to 30 and had record short interest. and just kept rallying. It's the same thing with GoPro. Everyone thinks of a tinfoil camera on somebody's head. It's like, hey, I can make some sort of makeshift device to put a camera on my head, but it's a lot more than that. I can almost guarantee it. And guess what? The money here, look at the volume and the move in the stock. That's money. That's real money. So you can write a 10-page research report telling the world how you think the stock is undervalued. But all that counts is this: volume and price. And that is it. Speaking about price, U.S. oil or crude oil has been declining significantly. We had a 17-month low. Crude oil is declining here before the bell. And look, we're going to break that long-term support line. This looks very bearish. And to me, that's good. You know what? Cheaper prices at the pump cost you less to ship your products. Any kind of product that relies upon any kind of oil-based product is going to be less costly to produce. So this is a win-win. So we'll see if we can continue to the downside. Some people might say, all right, well, oil's declining. A lot of it might has to do with the rising value of the dollar. Some of the commodities are taking a hit. So that's bad in a way, but you know what? As long as everything else is going up, we're good. And finally, VXX, because we know how this works, folks. VXX, this chart is a 2-year daily. If we go back even further, you can see the carnage. Hello, carnage. So we look from a shorter term perspective. I wonder what's going to happen with this rip to the upside. I just wonder. On a chart that's down 95% for the last 5 years. So at some point, we'll see what we get this morning. We're going to get a pop and then a sell the rip, or are we going to see a rally? Is this just going to get smacked down? Interesting times here. Great times to be trading out of money stock options. If you're on the right side of the trade, of course, which I haven't been. I'll admit it. But we'll see. Anything can happen. That's the great thing about this market. We had the Whole Foods pop. We'll see what goes on the rest of the trading session today. But I'll see you in the chat room at optionmillionaires.com. Hope you have a great trading session. Again, I like Whole Foods back over $40 in the next week and a half. And we'll see if this market can get a bounce. It's fooling the bulls and bears alike. A lot of the bears, I think, have covered their positions already after trying to short this market for, 5 years. And to me, this sell-off doesn't seem like anything that we haven't seen in the past. But each time you get that nasty sell-off, it just feels like that. It feels different, but it's not. All right, UPB, your optionmillionaires.com. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the chat room. Everyone have a great trading day. Goodbye.